Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's messages. It's been a really um, crazy week as well. So, I've been a little irregular with the posting, but I hope for that to change. But I hope you all are doing really, really well. And just wishing everybody a lot of abundance and happiness and prosperity and love. And may you have everything that you wish for. Okay. I don't know why that just came up. And I also just want to thank each and everybody that has subscribed and those that watch the videos and that you're here. Thank you for choosing to be here because even when you come on and you watch something, you're also investing your time and energy, and I just felt like saying thank you to everybody. All right, let's get into the messages. So I don't know how many of you were able to see all the planets, and I tried really hard but wasn't visible to me. But let's see what shows up. First message: say yes to the dress. So, this could be somebody accepting a marriage proposal. I was hearing wedding bells. This could be your own wedding, or this could be you attending somebody's wedding, or going to a party or an event. I was seeing your social calendar being really full, and I was also shown somebody, like it said, climbing up the ladder, climbing up the social ladder. Um, so maybe you are. I was also getting PR for some reason. So I don't know what work you do, but maybe it involves socializing with a lot of people, meeting a lot of people, networking. Maybe that's something you're going to do in the next couple of months. And you seem to be either otherwise, making more friends, making more connections. This could be business or just personal. I was hearing this message of feeling very stressed out, like you stretched yourself out too thin. For somebody, you could also feel that you're being pulled in many different directions. You could feel overburdened with responsibilities. Sometimes you feel like you've just taken on more than you can handle. Okay. Um, yeah, that's all that I got. It was just, either delegate, look for somebody to help you out, or maybe it's time you prioritize only saying yes and committing to, how much you can handle. You may be meeting somebody after a very long time. I'm seeing a lot of fives and sevens. So it was this energy of a lot of things are changing. So you may need to take some time to pause, to reflect, to kind of analyze, rework things. I was also hearing there's a lot of processing going on, right? Not just energetically, but whatever you're doing, okay? It's like there are a lot of things being processed in your mind as well. You may be constantly, working out different things um, in whatever area this, applies to you. They're now shown this a ship, but it's sort of slanting, like it's sideways, and it's docked, but it's sideways. And basically, it's giving me the energy of something feeling imbalanced. Like for a ship, like the ship floats in the water, right? So it's not the water. Hang on, let me rephrase that. So the ship in the water, it's only when there is a crack in the ship and the water starts to leak through, right? That's when it drowns. So somewhere there is an imbalance of emotions, is basically what I was getting with this. It's not the water around it that makes it drown. It's when the water gets into the ship, in some form or the other, in a boat or wherever. And then one side gets lopsided, and that's when it kind of drowns. So for somebody, this is about, you managing your emotions. Sometimes you get triggered, and the way that you react. So the message here is to respond rather than to react. If you're somebody that is very quick to say something, this is taking some time to, okay, this is what the person said, hang on, let me just think over it. Okay, let me kind of process what this person said. So it's thinking before speaking. Okay, not just mindlessly saying anything and just taking reckless action and then later on being like, oh, but I could have done that differently. So it's learning to respond rather than reacting. Okay, I hope that whole message made sense because I kind of went all over the place. But yeah, okay. I was also being shown this, like, there's that cartoon, right? The ugly duckling, and then how it transforms. So for here, this is not somebody that is bad looking, but like the message I got was when you start something, whether this is a business that you've started or what else, something that you have started, it may not look so great in the beginning, but as you grow, as your business grows, as it expands, things start to take shape. I was being shown a flower. Okay, first you have like a really small bud, and then the petals start to grow around it, layer by layer by layer, and then when it blooms, it looks beautiful, right? So the message is time, patience, and growth, right? And I was also being shown a bird. Like when a bird is born, um, it doesn't have that much of the fluff, right? When it's born, it just looks like, um, I'm getting like, basically it looks naked, right? It just looks basically like skin. It looks really small and like, I'm not doing justice to this, but basically you get what I'm saying. And then slowly as it grows, with all the feathers and everything, it's that's when it transforms, right? Like a peacock, when you see all the feathers together and when it opens and does that beautiful dance, then it looks spectacular. So the message here is that in the initial stages, things may not look so great, but don't lose hope. Whatever it is that you're building, whether it's a house, whether it's your business, whether it's a relationship, it's about getting over and getting through the initial bumps, okay, the initial, um, the groundwork. Somebody, I'm also hearing sometimes it can be very boring, whatever you're doing initially. Sometimes it can feel like, am I really on the right path? Or, is this really going to turn out the way that it's going to? I'm also getting like a painting, when you start, initially you just make like a few grid lines, like, something to give you like markers, like a blueprint. And then you start to, sketch, like you draw the outline, and then you get into the finer details. Then you start with the painting, and then you start, bringing in all the different shades. And that's when you finally look at the end result, at the end picture, that's when it looks really amazing. But initially you're wondering like, okay, but if you can see it through, if you can see the end result, you know and if that motivates you, like, you keep going. So for somebody, this is not to give up regardless of how the situation looks right now. Okay. I have had this weird cough that just doesn't seem to go. Throat chakra may be opening for a lot of people. Okay, it's really funny, but it's usually when I start the recordings is when it kind of comes up. Interesting. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, for somebody I was looking at, there was this, like a hand mirror, one of those little vanity mirrors that you pull out. Um, the message I got was that every time you see yourself in the mirror, it's different. Or for somebody, when you look into the mirror now, you're going to see a very different you. If you were to see yourself a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and if you look at yourself today, okay, if you go between the recent past to now, and I don't just mean physically, I don't mean like superficially, but when you look in the mirror, for some, you're going to feel like this is not the same person, okay? You may feel like I don't recognize this person. I kind of went through this a while ago, and up till recently, actually, I was going through some photographs a couple of years ago, and I was like, I could not recognize that person, okay? So I was hearing timeline shift, timeline jump, and I think I've mentioned this before, but a lot of people have the capacity to, I was hearing like morphing bodies, you know, um, shape shifting, and that comes up pretty often. So look at those things. Now, on the same lines, if you're somebody that's very critical about the way that you look, you will see that reflect in other areas of your life as well, right? Because whatever judgments we have, we use that filter and that applies everywhere else as well. But if you're somebody that can see the beauty in everything, you will also see the beauty in yourself. So, how you see yourself, how you see things, all depends on your perception. Okay? When a situation changes, okay, when we think a situation has changed, or a person has changed, or something to do along those lines, the message here is it really that the situation or the person has changed, or has it, or is it that the way you now see things is different? So is it really that the thing has changed, or has you changed? Okay, this is something to think about. I was getting oh, that what's that movie? Oh my god. Yeah, Breakfast at Tiffany's, I think. So I was getting like Audrey Hepburn with pearls and the whole, I don't know, I was getting like this whole vintage black and white classic, those dresses back in the day. Um, that's all I saw. I'm not getting any messages. Maybe you like her, you're fond of her style. Maybe this movie could be one of your favorites. I was also seeing like a trinket box, a musical box, the one which has that kind of knob or the key that you kind of wind and then it plays a song. Maybe somebody has that. I was also shown this really beautiful image of, so it's like a tunnel, and there were these fairy lights. Okay, so the tunnel was actually glowing, and I was asking, like, what does it mean? Because I got, there's light at the end of the tunnel, which is the saying. And I kept asking, I'm like, okay, so what's the message here? Because I get that. So for some, there is light at the end of the tunnel. So what they said is that even though there is light at the end of the tunnel, what you need to know is that even at the dark times, when you're going through a period of whatever, when you're going through a down period and when you're feeling really low, you need to know that you are the light. So even if you're literally, I'm just giving an example of if you're going through a tunnel which is completely dark, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, this is telling you that don't forget that you are the light. And that light is nothing but the source, nothing but God that's guiding you towards that. Okay? So never forget that you are always being guided, no matter how dark it seems, no matter how, even if you feel like you've hit rock bottom, always know that the light is within you. And then I was seeing a lot of different faces. I was shown different idols, made of different materials. And I don't know, I'm getting this message that if somebody is confused about, which spiritual tools to use, or which, like maybe which spiritual modality to choose, okay? Like some people do tarot, somebody does, there are various types of um, spiritual, um, what do you call them, modalities out there, right? What spirit is saying that do something, this is very specific, okay, for somebody that's confused. So do something that calls you, okay, rather than going by what a person likes or what people say that this is really amazing. um, Choose something that you feel really called to, okay, something that excites you. That's the message. And the other message was that, see, there are so many religions and cultures, and everything has its own beauty in it. But the message here was, regardless of what you follow or don't follow, the end is that everything is energy, right? Everything is that same one source. I keep saying source because it's, just more generalized. Um, so never forget that. Regardless of whatever you do, never forget that at the end of the day, we are all energy. It is that one basic prima facie. Okay? And no matter how big a situation, a problem may seem, we are the captain of our ship. So things will go in the direction that you steer the ship. So your thoughts, your intention, your focus is the main ingredient, is the main element. I was shown this example of, you may have done it in school, where you take a magnifying glass and you put a piece of paper on the grass or on the ground, and when you hold it at a particular angle, because of the way that the sunlight refracts, right, it does that refraction, and then it focuses on that one point on the paper, and then when all that heat gets focused, you actually land up burning the paper, right, because all of it converges down to that one single point. So the same way, they're saying that your intention, your focus, and your thoughts, when you bring it all with that concentrated effort onto that particular thing, okay, are the main elements